frontal disease.
Correct. It is not
where the
gonna
fluid
reveal.
comes up.
Yeah. If there's an epidural, it's not.
Dr.
It's
John
not gonna
Bradley
show,
is
yeah.
director of infectious diseases at Rady Children's Hospital and a professor at UC San Diego School of Medicine.
Boy, her maxillaries are clear.
Bradley was training to be a pediatrician in San Francisco back in 1976 when one of his sons, just a baby, got his first whooping cough immunization.
He started fussing, and then within an hour was just screaming. And my job as a pediatrician is to know who's sick and who's not. And when you're screaming and you're inconsolable, you're sick.
Back then, babies and kids got a vaccine different from the one today. It was called a whole cell vaccine, loaded up with a purified version of the bacteria known to cause whooping cough. It did its job. It nearly wiped out the disease by the mid-70s. But it also caused a lot of side effects. When researchers developed a new vaccine in the late 90s, one that promised to be as effective as the old one without all the problems, Bradley and everyone else in the medical community embraced it. Fast forward about 16 years, and the babies who were among the first to get the new vaccine are now teenagers and among the hardest hit by the latest whooping cough epidemic. Like 16-year-old Matthew Schaefer, he's camera shy and doesn't want to be interviewed. His mom, Paige Schaefer, says Matthew was so sick with whooping cough last August, he missed more than 2 months of school.
It kept him up all night, pretty much. It was worse during the evenings, nighttime. He'd cough so much he'd end up throwing up.
Whooping cough, scientifically known as pertussis, often referred to as the 100-day cough by doctors, can cause a cough so bad you can't catch your breath. For infants, it can be deadly. Matthew was fully immunized. 5 doses of the vaccine by the time he was 5, a booster when he was 12, and an additional booster, one not required by the state, just months before he got sick. In California last year, teens between the ages of 14 and 16 accounted for almost a quarter of all whooping cough cases. An iNewsSource analysis of state data shows where the immunization status of those teens is known, nearly 3/4 had received all of their required doses.
The vaccine doesn't work as well as we thought it was. Even though we know it's not the best vaccine, it's even less effective than we thought.
Bradley should know. Back in 2010, he wondered why he was seeing babies hospitalized, some dying for whooping cough.
The babies were just the tip of the iceberg.
When Bradley and his colleagues took a closer look at all the whooping cough cases in San Diego County, they expected to see huge numbers of unimmunized kids. Instead, they were surprised to learn most had their shots.
Our manuscript was going to be the first publication, scientific publication, that was going to question the efficacy of the vaccine.
At first, Bradley had trouble getting it published.
But it's the fear that if we say the vaccine doesn't work, then people will stop getting the vaccine. And I want to hasten to add that there are now subsequent data to show that if you get immunized, even though you may not prevent infection, if you get infection, it's milder.
The paper was eventually accepted into the Journal of the Pediatric Infectious Diseases Society in 2012. Up until studies like Bradley's, public health officials and the media blamed parents who refused to immunize their kids for the outbreaks. Research has shown they likely only played a limited role.
And we want people to trust that vaccines are the right thing, and we don't want to tell them anything that would undermine that. But in the context where the truth is the truth, we have to share the truth. To paint yourself in a corner saying, oh, this is a fine vaccine, it's their fault, is not addressing the true problem.
There is also research suggesting a new strain of the bacteria which causes whooping cough could be contributing to the outbreaks here in California and worldwide. Dr. Andrew Preston is a scientist at the University of Bath in the UK. His research shows the bug that causes whooping cough is evolving and may have serious consequences for the ability of current vaccines to continue to control pertussis. Preston has been paying close attention to the epidemic in the U.S.
As you guys, particularly in California, know, it's quite possibly a mixture of things, which I know sounds kind of a typically overcautious statement, but it's almost uncertainly the case.
He and other scientists say many factors, such as the mutating strain and better tools to diagnose whooping cough, may be contributing to higher numbers. Bradley says until a new vaccine is developed, health officials have to make the best use of the one they have now, including giving boosters to pregnant women to protect their newborn babies. But, he cautions, too many boosters, and there is a risk the vaccine can have the opposite effect and make you more susceptible to getting sick. For KPBS, I'm iNewsSource reporter Joanne Ferrian.